You'd be hard-pressed to find a pickleball player who hasn't heard the phrase forehand in the middle at least one time in their pickleball career, if not in the games they were playing that same day. I think it's actually the most commonly used maxim, I put that in quotes, out there on the pickleball courts. Forehand in the middle governs a lot of play out there. If you've heard something more often than forehand in the middle, let us know in the comments below, because part of this series is testing those maxims to see if they hold up or not. In this video, what we're going to do is we're going to test forehand in the middle. We're going to run it through 3 different scenarios, and then we're going to compare it to another maxim that you can use, another question you can ask yourself out there to determine who should hit the ball, to see which one holds up better. Before we test it, let's make sure we're on the same page of what forehand in the middle means. In this case, we're going to have a blue player and a yellow player up here. If they're both right-handed players, that would mean the forehand would be on this side, the backhand on this side, forehand on this side, backhand on this side. Forehand in the middle basically says that any ball that travels through this middle should be hit by the yellow player whose forehand is in the middle. So forehand in the middle is whenever forehand is here, we'll hit that shot whenever the ball is in the middle. I've reset the board and framed out the test and how we're going to run it. So this column here is forehand in the middle. This column is our mystery guess, which will be revealed after we're done with the forehand in the middle analysis. I've set up the 3 different situations. Situation 1 is we have a racquetball player on the court. It's going to be the blue player is going to be a racquetball player. We have an up and back situation on the court, one player up, one player back. And then we have a lefty-righty combination on the court. So we're going to test forehand in the middle against these 3 different scenarios to see whether it's the right answer. So let's start with a racquetball player. So in this scenario, this blue player is a racquetball player. Now, most racquetball players, not all of them, but most racquetball players that come over to pickleball have exceedingly strong backhands. There's a pro player named De La Rosa. You can watch him play. His backhand is absolutely devastating. His forehand's excellent too, but his backhand is absolutely devastating. I've partnered at US Open and other tournaments with a good friend of mine, Tom Rolsey, who's a lefty like I am. So we'd be opposite here of this, the forehands and backhands. But he has a very strong backhand because he's a racquetball player. His forehand is fantastic, but his backhand is deadly. So we actually stack with his backhand in the middle. So the question is, if I have a racquetball player here whose strength is on this side, then the question is, how does forehand in the middle help me there? And the answer is it doesn't, because oftentimes you're going to want this player to take the shot, depending on the type of shot it is, and it's going to be their backhand. So if I'm applying a concept that just says, well, forehand in the middle must hit it, I would have the yellow player hit it, not the blue player hit it. And in that situation, forehand in the middle does not give us the right answer, does not help us out, and it fails that test. The next one is up back. So up back looks like this. Now we're going to go back to, actually, we still have a right-handed player, but let's assume this is not a racquetball player anymore. So it's just a traditional backhand strength. So this player, the forehand would be stronger than the backhand, okay? So this player, this shot's going to be stronger than this one here. Forehand in the middle would say for this player to hit it no matter what. But the question I want you to answer is, if you have a situation like that and you have a ball traveling through this middle spot here and this player is stuck here. So you have a situation where this player is getting attacked on their forehand side. This player can reach out with the backhand. I'm going to suggest to you that the answer here is going to be in an up-back situation. You want the player who is up to take the ball. 2 main reasons I'll give you right now is 1, closer to the net. I should give you 3 reasons. 1, closer to the net, less likely to make an error. 2, these players will have less time to move forward, right? So these players won't be able to move up as far as if the ball goes through. And number 3, this player, and it's related to number 2, is this player can do more damage from here on that shot than this player can back here, even with their forehand. So generally speaking, you're going to want this player to take this ball with their backhand, then this player from here, then letting it go through to let this player take it with their forehand. What does that tell us? Failed in that scenario. Forehand in the middle has failed us. So thus far, 2 up, 2 fails. Mark your calendars, July 20th, free 90-minute workshop where you can learn how to use a soft king to dominate your opponents. I'll put a link below so you can get your free ticket. The last one I want to cover is a lefty-righty situation, which is not uncommon. I'm a lefty, so I tend to be in those situations pretty frequently. So what happens in this situation now is I have a forehand here and a backhand here. So I got 2 forehands in the middle. Who takes that shot? And I'll tell you, it is very confusing for my right-handed friends that I play with, that I rotate in with and just play with sometimes. They'll be confused by this situation. They don't know who should take the ball. And so forehand in the middle here is simply not helpful, right? it'll always be a forehand if it goes through the middle, right? So it doesn't help you, even though you are going to end up with a forehand hitting it. Either this player or this player's forehand will hit it. So in this scenario, it just simply is of no value. It has no impact on the decision making. Now, here's the thing about forehand in the middle. Forehand in the middle will sometimes end up being the answer. Like in this situation, it will definitely be a forehand if the ball goes in the middle. One of us is going to hit it with our forehand. So it looks like, well, forehand in the middle answered the question. The problem is it doesn't give us helpful information while we're making the decision. It's more like one of these things where you look backward, you look in the rearview mirror, and you said, hey, a forehand hit it in the middle, i.e. forehand in the middle. The question you want to ask yourself is, does forehand in the middle help you make the decision looking forward? Not looking in the rearview mirror, but looking forward in terms of who should hit the ball. And as you can see in this situation, and this situation, which are not uncommon, forehand in the middle either is not helpful or can give us the wrong answer when the forehand's in the wrong spot, or when the other player happens to have a stronger backhand than a forehand in any event. So there are situations where forehand in the middle is either wrong or not helpful. So now the question is, what can we put up here that will help us answer all of these three, and will actually help you answer more than just these three, help you answer any situation out there? Before we do that, if you're enjoying this content, consider subscribing to the channel. We love sharing this kind of content with you, and if you subscribe to the channel, you help us reach you because you'll get notified of the video if you put that little bell in effect, and you'll help us reach other players, helping everybody improve. All right, so let's talk about what's alternative to forehand in the middle. It's going to be, what is the best shot for my team? Okay, I'll write that out for you in a minute, but I'll write it up here for you. So it's the question you want to ask yourself is, what's the best shot for my team? That's the real relevant question at the end of the day. And it does take a little bit more thinking than just forehand in the middle, because forehand in the middle, you just identify it, except in the lefty-righty, then you're left with, I don't know what to say, what to answer. But what's the best shot for my team? Let's analyze that now with these different situations. So let's go back to the racquetball player. So we have a ball in the middle. I have a strong backhand and the forehand out here. So the question is, who should take this shot? Well, the answer will be answered, a lot of times it's answered by court position. So if this player is a little bit farther forward than this player would take it, which will address this one as well. But it could also be where they're both up here, okay? So you have to ask yourself, okay, which of these shots here, between the forehand here and the backhand here, and actually I want to get this circle out of here because we're done with forehand in the middle, so we don't have this presumption here. The underline indicates that this is their stronger shot. So this is this player's stronger shot, the forehand, and the backhand's this player's stronger shot. So who should hit this one right in the middle? Well, who has the stronger put-away shot? This player with the backhand or this player with the forehand? Now, I will agree with you that the vast majority of players out there, the forehand will be the stronger shot. So that's where a situation where forehand in the middle ends up being the right answer, but it's not because it's the right way of thinking about it. It just happens to be the answer you end up with. But there are situations where you're going to have a player that has a better put-away backhand shot, and that's becoming more and more as players work on their backhand volleys. So if the backhand shot of this player, the blue player, is stronger than the forehand shot of the yellow player, then the answer is this shot should take it, not this shot. So this wing, not this wing. So forehand in the middle would not give it to you, but what's the best shot for my team will give you the right answer. Same thing where you have and I'm going to take this off now, and we're going to move it over here. We're going to make this player's forehand stronger, but we have an up-back situation, okay? So this is a situation where these players are basically, they're attacking through here. Looks like I'm losing my magnet for a second there. They're attacking through the middle here, so that ball's going to flow through here, and it's either going to be intercepted by this player's backhand, or it's going to be allowed to go here to this player's forehand. 90% of the time, 95% of the time, I want this player to take this ball because it's the best shot for my team, allowing this player to move forward. You know, this player hits it, this player then moves in behind that empty space, gets up there, and you have a better defensive situation off this player hitting it. So best shot for my team gives you the correct answer there. What about lefty-righty? So now we're going lefty-righty. And this analysis, as you can see, with a lefty-righty is very similar to, I picked up a mic there. It's very similar to the racquetball player, right? Because in this situation, I have a stronger forehand than a backhand with a lefty as a normal situation. Who hits this ball? Who's got the better shot at it? An example of a principle that would apply here, and I'll link to a video up here so you can understand it better, is respect the X. If the ball's traveling this way, even if it's in the middle, right? If the ball's traveling, let me do this one first. If the ball's traveling this way across, then this player is most likely the best one to hit it because it's traveling into their paddle. If the ball was traveling along the other axis of the X, then this player is the right answer. But they're both governed by the same question. What's the best shot for my team? And that will give you the right answer. So instead of applying a concept like forehand in the middle, and which, by the way, fails the test, so it is not a maxim that you should be applying out there. And if someone out there is saying to you forehand in the middle is the rule, feel free to share this video with them and have them walk through these with you and explain to you why forehand in the middle should take it in an up back, or what's the answer in a lefty-righty situation. There is no answer with forehand in the middle. So you feel free to share this video with them. But forehand in the middle is not a consistently applicable maxim out there. Best shot for my team will cover you all the time, including pretty much any shot that you're trying to hit. So consider applying best shot for my team rather than forehand in the middle, and you're going to play better pickleball. Make sure you join us on July 20th. If you're watching this when it's released or anytime soon after, we're going to have our soft game workshop on July 20th. It's a free 90-minute immersive soft game workshop. You're going to learn a ton about the soft game. And even if you think you're using the soft game, some tips in there for you because you're probably not using it to its fullest extent. Have a great week, and we'll see you in our next video.